It's a beautiful image. One of my favorite artists from Winnipeg, Aganitha Dick. We're currently collaborating on a project with bees and employee engagement. Aganitha was quite instrumental in changing my thinking to thinking differently inside the hive. I mean, we've heard that trite expression, think differently outside the box, but if you can collaborate with bees, if you can create art with bees, then surely each of us can create all kinds of very compelling things within organizations. Aganitha's taught me a lot, but she'll put items into the hive, and sometimes the bees will work with it, and sometimes they won't. Sometimes we put something into our social network, and the group works with it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it requires tweaking. She keeps taking objects out and working with them and reinserting them. Sometimes the bees make something she could never have imagined much better than she did. And then she doesn't aggrandize the bees. She has a little story about when the queen's day is done, she's in essence told to leave. If she doesn't go, they cook her, which means the bees swarm her and build up heat and can literally kill the queen bee.
Wow.
Let that be a warning to leaders out there that if you don't engage in your community, people can cook you. They're not going to swarm you and heat you up, but they can find ways to subvert what you're doing.
I love it.
And so if you're at the center of things, you're engaged with that. So thinking differently inside the hive is key, and that's Keith Johnson's statement, what comes next.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example without naming names recently that where this was...
Well, you know, putting out a few videos, say, into the network, and then all of a sudden seeing people offer other videos and create videos around that. If you go to my network, in the 600 forums, someone puts a question there, and all of a sudden that question is transformed. It becomes a blog post, then it moves over to Twitter, then it changes into someone else who's designing something, and before you know it, someone else might be creating a network on that very topic.
Sure. On to the next. Great, compelling content.
That's a clip from Gar Reynolds' presentation Zen. If the listeners don't visit Gar Reynolds' site, you're missing a fabulous resource on presentations. And although he looks a lot at in-person presentations, the same principles can apply to online. A lot of people, when they begin and when I do coaching with them, really struggle with brevity. Make your posts and make your interactions brief. One of the beauties of Twitter is you're limited to 140 characters. Fascinating to me that people try to find ways to subvert that. Or need to get more in there, get more in there. Meaningfulness for your audience is really important. Simple writing is often very well received. And I think the big dilemma I'm seeing with many organizations behind the firewall is how porous do you become? Do you allow external YouTube videos in there? Do you pull in RSS feeds? Do you allow things from the network to go external? And I really believe if you're going to sustain yourself over time, you need to be fairly porous. Well, assuring the integrity of the system, porousness is really vital.
I wonder as well, I mean, thinking of your last slide and this one around telling content, if you can comment on the importance of listening to your community.
Yeah, good question. You know, I mean, the community will tell you. The community will tell you what's going on, and they'll talk with you. They'll let you know, because I have an external community, we could end up with spammers on there. It's not that I have to have tight spam controls. The community, within minutes, will frequently be sending an email or a phone call. You know, there's so-and-so on this site. I'm not sure about them.
Sure.
And so they become very involved and very connected to the community and create some pretty fascinating things. Or they'll say, you know, we would like more of a focus on this or more of a focus on that. You know, like everything else, sometimes you get some conflicting ideas and you have to kind of figure out where you move from there.
Sure. We on to the next stop?
Yeah, it's just a sample on the next stop.
Okay.
I know he's online. I think he's listening and watching the seminar. John Johnson is my partner in a lot of projects, and this is just one page of an ebook we're working on the Employee Engagement Network. If you go to the Employee Engagement Network, you'd see this as a forum. I believe there's, there's maybe 90 contributions. And what we're doing is we're taking the contributions and making an ebook and then making it back available not only to the network, but anybody, and it's free, who's interested in employee engagement. So what John has really shown very well is the importance of design. I mean, It's eye-pleasing. It's simple. It's a quick read. It really takes every comment that the individuals have offered and said, we've paid attention to this. Not only have we paid attention to it, we've kind of reformatted it, we're attributing it to you, and then they start to spread the word about, oh, there's a great resource, I'm a part of this resource, and it really benefits so many people. So that will be, I think, our fourth ebook.
That's great. And when is that due for publication?
We'll put it out sometime in May.
Okay.
Probably around mid-May, and you just go to the employee engagement site, and it'll be right there on the first page. If you go there now, there's about 200 ideas on employee engagement, about 120 leadership ideas on engagement, the first two books that we've done, and I think that's so important. I think the glue of a community is contribution.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're talking about today, absolutely.
And I think we have to take what people contribute and go further with it. I want to just emphasize, as a quick side note here, the Employee Engagement Network is a hobby for me. It's a sideline. It's not my work. I mean, I'm very involved in engagement. I'm very involved in other things. So I have to be very expedient and very efficient on how things are done.
All right. On to the next.